1980 Pontiac Sunbird. The first generation Sunbird debuted in 1976 as Pontiac's answer to sporty subcompacts like the Ford Mustang II, Mercury Capri, and Toyota Celica. It was built on GM's H-body platform shared with the Chevy Monza, Vega, and Pontiac Astra. All models rode on a 97-inch wheelbase and featured rear-wheel drive. Body styles included a notchback coupe and a 3-door hatchback with a sloped rear window. For 1980, Pontiac dropped the wagon and the optional 305 V8, leaving only V and 6-cylinder options. Engine options that year included the 2.5 Iron Duke and the Buick-sourced 3.8-liter V6, which made 115 horsepower. The Sunbird offered both a manual and automatic transmission, and performance leaned more toward economy than muscle. Standard equipment included white-wall tires, custom wheel covers, body side moldings, and bumper guards at both ends. While not a powerhouse, it offered sharp styling for the time and an affordable price tag. Nearly 500,000 first-gen Sunbirds were built before it was phased out after 1980. It was then replaced by the front-wheel drive J2000 for the 1982 model year. 1980 Pontiac Phoenix. The Phoenix was completely redesigned in 1980 and became Pontiac's first ever front-wheel drive production car. It moved to GM's new X-body platform, which it was shared with the Chevy Citation, Buick Skylark, and Oldsmobile Omega. Available body styles included a 2-door notchback coupe and a 5-door hatchback, both offering more interior space than the previous model. The base engine was the 2.5 Iron Duke, making 90 horsepower and focused on fuel efficiency. A more powerful and redefined 2.8-liter V6 was available, making 110 horsepower and offering better acceleration, though it had a somewhat raspy sound under load. Both engines came standard with a 4-speed manual transmission, while a 3-speed automatic was optional. Standard features were modest, but the hatchback body offered practicality and solid cargo space for a compact car. Unfortunately, the Phoenix reputation was quickly damaged due to quality issues and recalls. The 1980 models had a dangerous braking flaw where the rear wheels could lock up during emergency stops, a problem unique to that year. Build quality problems including misaligned panels and rattling interiors were common complaints. While it had potential, the 1980 Phoenix never overcame its early reliability issues. It stayed in production until 1984, but was eventually replaced by the front-wheel drive Grand Am for 1985. 1980 Pontiac LeMans. In 1978, the Pontiac LeMans was completely downsized along with the other GM midsize cars. The new platform shed 600 to 800 pounds compared to the previous generation, focusing on fuel economy. From 1978 to 1980, Pontiac offered the LeMans in base and Grand LeMans trims. Body styles included a 2-door coupe, 4-door sedan, and a 5-door station wagon. The base engine was a 3.8-liter Chevrolet-sourced V6, which offered basic performance and decent fuel economy. For buyers wanting more power, Pontiac's own 4.9-liter V8 was available as the top engine choice. Transmission options included a standard 3-speed manual or optional 3-speed automatic. The Grand LeMans trim offered a more upscale experience with additional chrome trim, softer suspension tuning, and nicer interior materials. Despite the lighter body and smaller dimensions, the LeMans still offered roomy seating for 5. While the LeMans didn't offer the excitement of the Trans Am or Grand Prix, it served as a practical and affordable midsize option during the time. 1980 Pontiac Grand Am. The Grand Am nameplate returned in 1978 on a downsized platform shared with the Grand Prix and Le Mans. Built on GM's rear-wheel drive A-body, it featured a unique front end with a vertical bar grille, a distinct beak nose, and body-colored bumpers to set it apart from the Le Mans. Special taillights, body side trim, and a sporty interior gave it a international performance vibe rather than just another American cruiser. The instrument panel was trimmed in brushed metal, and the 3-spoke steering wheel had exposed metal spokes, giving it a purpose-built mechanical feel. Bucket seats in cloth or vinyl were standard, along with a center console and floor shifter for the turbo-hydromatic automatic transmission. Initially offered as both a 2-door coupe and 4-door sedan, the sedan was dropped for 1980 due to poor sales. By 1980, only one engine remained, the 4-barrel Pontiac 301 V8 with 170 horsepower, or in California, the 160 horsepower Chevy 305. Manual transmissions and other engine options had been phased out by the final year. Despite its unique styling and premium interior, the Grand Am never sold well, making up only about 2% of Pontiac's midsize sales. Production ended after 1980, but the Grand Am earned a bit of redemption in 1982 when Jack Ingram won the first NASCAR Busch Series title in a 1980 Grand Am. 1980 Pontiac Grand Prix. In 1978, the Grand Prix was completely downsized, shrinking by nearly a foot and shedding about 600 pounds compared to the 1977 model. Built on GM's new G-body platform, it offered better fuel economy without sacrificing interior space. In fact, cabin volume slightly increased over the previous generation. For the first time in Grand Prix history, a V8 engine was no longer standard equipment. By 1980, Pontiac introduced a 265 cubic inch V8 rated at 125 horsepower, replacing the base 301. All models came standard with an automatic transmission. Manuals were no longer offered. The 1980 model also brought back the vertical bar grille and added new taillights featuring GP logos. In 1981, the Grand Prix received a styling refresh with a lower, wider front end and a more distinctive rear. Those were more well received than the 1980 models. The interior carried Pontiac's sporty DNA with a driver-focused dashboard and signature steering wheel. Trim levels included the base model, the more luxurious LJ, and the performance-oriented SJ. While sales dipped in the early 80s due to changing tastes, the Grand Prix remained a popular personal luxury coupe through the decade. This generation ran through 1987 when it was finally replaced by a new front-wheel drive model in 1988. 1980 Pontiac Bonneville. For 1977, the Pontiac Bonneville was significantly downsized as part of GM's full-size car overhaul. Compared to the previous year, it was 14 inches shorter, over 4 inches narrower, and a full 800 pounds lighter. The downsizing improved fuel economy and handling without sacrificing much interior space. Body styles included a two-door coupe and a pillared four-door sedan. Traditional hardtop models were discontinued across all GM divisions. For the first time since 1970, the Bonneville Safari wagon returned to the lineup, featuring wood grain exterior trim and upscale interior finishes. In 1980, the entire B-body lineup received a mid-facelift with more aerodynamic styling and a bit of weight reduction. The two-door coupe now featured available opera windows and formal rooflines that aimed at the personal luxury market. Interior trims remained upscale with available velour or vinyl bench seats and plenty of chrome accents. Despite being a respected nameplate, the Bonneville struggled in sales compared to the other B-body cousins like the Caprice and Delta 88. Production of the 6th gen model ended after 1981, and for 1982, the Bonneville name moved to a smaller G-body platform, shifting away from its traditional full-size roots. 1980 Pontiac Catalina. The Pontiac Catalina served as the entry-level full-size offering in Pontiac's lineup for 1980. Like the Bonneville, the Catalina was downsized for 1977, losing 14 inches in length, over 4 inches in width, and shedding nearly 800 pounds. It rode on the same B-body platform as the Bonneville, sharing identical body panels and dimensions. The main visual differences came down to subtle trim changes like less chrome, different wheel covers, and the absence of Bonneville's rear fender skirts. Available as a two-door coupe, four-door sedan, or station wagon, the Catalina offered full-size space at a more affordable price. Engine choices typically included Buick's 3.8 V6 and Pontiac's 301, with larger options phased out over time due to emissions and fuel economy standards. A 350 Oldsmobile-built diesel V8 became optional in 1980, but those were not well received at all. Standard equipment was modest and interiors leaned toward the basic side, especially compared to the more upscale Bonneville. In 1980, Catalina sales plummeted to under 14,000 units. Despite offering the same size, the Catalina was consistently overshadowed not just by the Bonneville but by the widely popular Chevy Caprice. By 1981, the Catalina quietly exited the lineup, ending a nameplate that had been in part of Pontiac's full-size heritage since the 50s. 1980 Pontiac Firebird. 1980 marked a major turning point for the Firebird, especially the Trans Am, due to tightening emission regulations. Pontiac dropped all large displacement engines that year, making the 301 V8 standard for the Formula and Trans Am. Manual transmissions were discontinued on the Formula and Trans Am. Every performance Firebird came with a 3-speed automatic transmission. The 301 Turbo produced 205 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque, using a Garrett turbo and a Rochester Quadrajet 4-barrel carburetor. A hood-mounted boost light let drivers know when the turbo was active, and the hood featured an offset bulge to clear the turbo plumbing. Despite weighing over 3,700 pounds, the Turbo Trans Am could hit 60 in 8.2 seconds and run the quarter mile in 16.7. Pontiac's WS6 package was still available, adding 4-wheel disc brakes and enhanced suspension tuning. The 1980 Turbo Trans Am appeared in Smokey and the Bandit 2, though the film car had nitrous for extra performance. While performance did fall, Pontiac avoided outsourcing and engineered their own solution to keep the Firebird competitive. And there you have it, every Pontiac offered in the year 1980 here in the States. Feel free to drop a comment down below with what company you would like to see featured next. I'll be going over most decades in 5-year intervals, and we'll go as far back as 1970. With that said, enjoy the rest of your week, and I will try and see you all next week.